If you've been told that AI agents learn without really understanding what that means, I've built and run them. Here's the honest version: three concrete mechanisms, none of them fine tuning the model on your data. Let me show you the most oversold phrase in AI right now and the honest version behind it. Every vendor in this category says their agent learns, and most are deliberately vague about what that means because the vagueness is doing work. The picture they're selling: a model that quietly absorbs every conversation and reprograms itself into a perfect version of your best employee. That is what sells. It is also, in almost every real deployment, false. And believing it is exactly how AI agent projects fail in production. Reality drifts from the demo, the bot gets worse, and 6 months later, it's quietly switched off. Here is what "it learns" should not mean: the model retraining itself on your data. Be wary of anyone implying that. It is rarely true, and where it is, it raises privacy questions you do not want. Your data should never train a base model. Here is what it honestly does mean: three concrete, buildable mechanisms. Each one is visible, approvable, and reversible. These are the only things that make an agent get better at your business. Mechanism 1: your corrections become examples it follows. Every agent proposes its work into a review queue rather than acting blind. A drafted reply, a proposed booking, a suggested record edit. When your operator edits that draft or approves it, that exact correction is captured as a labeled example in the agent's memory. The best of those examples are fed back into the agent's context. Next time it faces the same situation, it follows your team's real judgment instead of a generic script. Reply quality climbs week over week because you taught it, not because the model changed. You can see which corrections are influencing its behavior. It converges on your standard, not the internet's average. Mechanism 2: a scheduled evaluator reviews outcomes and proposes human-approved playbook revisions. Every action the agent takes logs an outcome: replied, booked, qualified, escalated, errored. On a schedule, a separate evaluator agent reviews those outcomes against the benchmark for that agent. The evaluator finds the patterns behind what's working and what isn't, then writes a specific proposed revision to the playbook. It finds the failure pattern and names it exactly. The control is as important as the proposal. The revision is versioned, and a human approves it before it goes live, with one-click revert if it underperforms. That is improvement you can see and control. This is the loop that compounds. Example memory improves individual replies. The evaluator improves the rules themselves, the playbook that governs every reply. Together, they compound. Mechanism 3: errors tighten guardrails and escalate to a human, never silently. When a tool fails, the agent's confidence is low, or an output is flagged, it's captured as an error record. The agent escalates to a human with full context instead of failing silently. A bot that guesses when it shouldn't is worse than no bot. Recurring errors do more than escalate. They automatically propose a tighter guardrail, a new rule that says, in this situation, route to a person, which a human reviews before it takes effect. Combined with per-contact memory, the agent remembers a returning patient's earlier conversation and preferences. It feels less like a script and more like a colleague who's been paying attention. All buildable, observable, and reversible. Now the through line, because it's the design principle behind all three mechanisms. A person approves the examples, approves the revisions, and is the destination for every escalation. During the supervised launch, every action is approved by a human before it goes out unattended. Every approval or edit fills the example memory. This phase earns the agent the right to run on its own. As accuracy proves out, the agent runs unattended, but still routes anything complex, sensitive, or out of policy to a human. Autonomous never means unsupervised. The net stays permanently. Then, each month, a person reviews the dashboard, approves the evaluator's proposed revisions, and decides whether to expand. Most clients spend a few minutes a week on this once the agent is past launch. Here is the uncomfortable truth about the DIY route and why it matters before you decide anything. The three loops are not features you toggle on. They are work someone has to do. Capturing corrections, reading the evaluator's proposals, approving or reverting them, watching the error log, tuning the playbook every month. 5 questions that separate an agent that earns its keep from an expensive experiment that gets switched off. Ask them of every option, ours included. We build, host, monitor, and tune the agents on our own infrastructure with a human in the loop review queue and a monthly learning loop. You are buying a managed improving service tied to an outcome number, not a one-time handoff. Then follow the one rule that beats any feature list. Point a managed agent at your single most expensive task. Run it for 30 days. Watch one number. Leads recovered, hours returned, appointments booked. Prove that number, then expand. Here's the real difference. Not in theory, but in what the front desk actually looks like. Before, an unreliable bot that guesses, drifts, and fails silently. Every wrong answer landing back on your team to fix. The same mistake on the 11th time you've corrected it. After, a managed agent that corrects, remembers, gets sharper on your actual work, and routes every edge case cleanly. One number going up on the dashboard every month. That is how a managed agent honestly learns from your corrections. 3 loops. Your corrections become examples, a scheduled evaluator proposes human-approved playbook revisions, and errors tighten guardrails and escalate. Observable, versioned, and reversible. The full catalog, the learning loop, plain text pricing, and the outcome guaranteed pilot start on the AI agents page. One agent, one number. Picture life after the system. Every call answered, every lead booked, and your team finally free for the work only people can do. That's Neuron. Let's build yours.